Hi folks, Greeno here in a very blustery Weymouth. We're on the back end of Storm Dara that's been around the UK over the weekend, and good Lord, it's breezy down by the seaside. So why have I come here on a bracing day like today? Well, I fancy some fish and chips, and behind me just here you can see Rockfish. Now Rockfish is a chain of fish and chip restaurants that extends along the Dorset and Devon coast, owned and operated by Mitch Tonks, who's a bit of a celebrity chef, well known in fish cookery circles, written a load of cookbooks. He's quite a regular on Saturday Kitchen and that sort of thing. And he's big on sustainability too. Now, I've had a look at the menu. It's not cheap, let me tell you, but we're gonna go in and see what it's all about. Right, come on, I need to get out of this wind. Okay, I am glad to be inside out of that wind, let me tell you. Even a big fella like me, I thought it was going to blow me down the seafront. So, seated, very friendly service so far. Been brought over some tap water, basically as soon as I sat down. And the guy told me he's going to come over and explain some of their fresh fish options. So they have a regular menu, but they also have daily specials, depending on what's been landed recently. Anyone who's been out fishing this weekend, mind, needs their heads examining. So I'm looking forward to seeing what they've got available. Got a regular menu here, which has all their usual stuff on there. There's all sorts of different starters, there's tapas options, lots of different fish and chips, unlimited chips if you want them, very good, and lots of different sides and sauces and stuff. So it's like a step up from your average fish and chip restaurant for sure. Again, extensive drinks menu too, like in the colour scheme on that, with lots of different wines, soft drinks, beers, all sorts of things. Might even treat myself to a beer to go with this, to be honest with you. Sounds pretty good to me. Right, so I'm just going to wait for the guy to come back over, explain what's available on today's specials menu. Don't know whether I'll go for it or not, but there might be something there to tempt me. So as I mentioned, there are a bunch of extra things that are available that are not on the regular menu, and they write them down on this piece of paper with today's market pricing for them. So there's cod, there's holdover sole, gurnard, there's mackerel, which are of course caught locally. You'll have seen me have mackerel baps before on the channel. There's some sardines there as a starter. I've decided to order that because I love sardines. And over here, in addition, whiting, which is a member of the cod family, but you don't really see it very often. And that whiting I've ordered with the unlimited chips and with curried mushy peas. So I'm not going to have mushy peas and curry sauce. They do a curried mushy pea here. It sounds pretty interesting to me. I've ordered a bottle of their own IPA to go with it. Oh yeah, looking forward to this. And right on cue, my beer has been delivered. Here it is, the Rockfish IPA. Nice can of it. And a chilled glass, which I bet on a summer's day is very welcome today. Who knows, you kind of more want a glass of alcoholic soup than a beer, but here we go. Let's get this poured out. Look at that. Anyone would think I'd been a barman in the past, wouldn't they? Nice flavour to that. Lovely. Right, let's wait for the sardines to pitch up, shall we? So I like the fact they've got all these different kinds of fish available on the menu. I think that's really good. Obviously, whatever's been caught out off the coastlines around here in Devon and Cornwall, that's what they're bringing in and selling, fresh as it can get. Let me know what you would have picked off that menu. Would you have gone for the regular kind of haddock, or they got hake on there too, I noticed? Or would you have tried something a little bit more exotic like the gurnard or the Dover sole perhaps, or the whiting like I'm going for? Can't wait to try it. Okay folks, my sardines have arrived. It's a very simple presentation. So we've got 3 butterflied sardines on the plate there with an oil on them. I'm not sure if it's a garlic oil or something like that, I think. And just a little chunk of lemon just to squeeze over the top of them. Now sardines are one of my favourite fish. I absolutely love them. These have been grilled on a char grill, which should impart a nice little bit of flavour. Bit of lemon juice. There's a little bit of parsley or something on the top of there as well. Yes, yes, yes. So, let's get into this. Of course, sardines will have tiny little bones in. They shouldn't cause any problem to eat the bones, really, because they're so small, they just sort of disappear in the mouth. So take a closer little look at this fish. That, my friends, is a beautiful looking piece of sardine flesh. The skin has got bar markings on the back where it's been on that char grill. Let's get into it. That is absolutely full of flavour. The skin has a little bit of crisp to it. I can't feel any bones in there. They've obviously been very careful when they've taken out the central bone when they're filleting the fish. My goodness me. That is absolutely delicious. The little charring on there gives a little burnt kind of flavour to it. You've got freshness from that lemon. You've got this oil, a little bit of garlic in it, and then just the flesh of the fish. It's simple, but it's delicious. I will say, price-wise, is it a bit punchy? This is $11.95 on their specials menu. So effectively, you're paying £4 for a sardine. It is all the money. It really is all the money. But by God, it's delicious. What I also wanted to mention is the service I've been getting so far. It has been top drawer. Greeted very nicely at the door. Brought to a table of my choice, which is nice. But the guy serving me seems very, very knowledgeable about all the fish, about all the different options on the menu, where everything's caught from, the provenance of it. And little touches like that make a difference. I heard him explain to someone about the oysters that are on the menu and how they're farmed like literally 2 miles away from here. He's explaining that mackerel caught off Chesil Beach, no more than 3 or 4 miles away from here. So yeah, really, really nice touch that with the service. Right then, folks, my lunch has arrived. We have the whiting here on the plate, we have the chips. These are definitely chips, not fries. And we have these curry mushy peas. Come and take a closer look. I've got to say, this all looks and smells very appealing. I do like the look of this whiting fish. So I've got 2 fillets on here. They're quite thin fillets. The whiting is a smaller fish in the cod family, so perhaps that's why they're thinner fillets. They've been cooked skin on. I've got a tartar sauce here with a nice pickled chilli in there too, and a wedge of lemon again. These curry mushy peas. Now I assumed it would just be like normal mushy peas with some curry mixed in or whatever, but it's actually, as you can see here, it's almost like a thing of curry sauce, and then they've put a big splodge of mushy peas in the middle of it, and you can kind of mix it yourself, so that's kind of interesting. We're going to get some chips onto the plate first, aren't we? Let's see how big this first portion is. It's a good sized portion. Deceptive. That's not bad. That's not bad. Still going to have more than one though. This is good. I've not even started yet. They've come over and offered me some more chips. They knew. Right, salt and vinegar time. And we all know the Greeno way of doing things here. A little bit of salt first. We get some of that on the fish too. A little bit of vinegar. And just in case that's washed some of the salt away, just on the chips, we go with another little sprinkling of salt on the top. There we go. All sorted. Let's start with these chips then. Lovely, beautiful golden colour on them. There we go. Let's get that in close to the camera. You can see that. Wow. Lovely little bit of crisp to the edges and to the ends. The inside is lovely and fluffy. And I'm not sure what oil they're frying in. This feels like a very nice and clean oil. As you can see from the colour of the chips, it's not discolouring the chips in any way. They are proper, absolute proper. We've got some ketchup here, so that's that as a little side. Don't mind some ketchup on some chips. Nice little sweetness, a little vinegariness. Yeah. I am impressed with these chips, I have to say. Now let's move on to this fish now, this whiting. I can't recall ever eating whiting before, but if it's a member of the cod family, we're going to expect some nice white flesh. And probably a fairly similar kind of mildish flavour. So we get lots of nice lemon over the top of that. Put that to one side for now. The batter is nice and crispy in fairness. I'm not quite sure which one to attack. We've got one curled up here. I don't know quite how to how to deal with. And one flatter one. So maybe we'll go with the flatter one. That might be a little easier to get into. There we go. So it's cut into the middle. And we'll take a little look. There we go, folks. Nice white flesh in the middle there. Like I say, it is a skin-on fish. That will help with the flavour. I know some people don't like it skin-on. I'm not normally a big fan myself, but if it's a thin skin, it doesn't really matter. That is delicious. Wow, wow, wow. The batter is beautifully crispy. That fish got such lovely white flesh, a delicate flavour, kind of halfway between sort of cod but with a little bit more sweetness like hake. Just had the second lot of chips arrive. Lovely job. So this tartar sauce that they've got here as well is clearly homemade. Nice chunks of gherkin and onion and bits and bobs in there. That does have a good flavour. A couple of places I've been to recently, the tartar sauce has just been a bit too creamy, a bit too mayo. This has got a nice little bit of sharpness to it, a bit of piquancy. It goes well with the chips. Let's get it on this fish. That, my friends, is lovely. Now, I've made a little bit of space on the plate now, because we're going to go in for some of these curried mushy peas. Like I say, it's not what I expected at all, but I like the idea of it. So you've got a really nice, thick, mushy pea there. Still with some whole peas in there, so it's not been completely kind of blitzed, and they're just the right kind of colour as well. A kind of khaki-ish kind of colour. You don't want them too bright, because that just means they've added too much food colouring. So, here we go. Let's give these a try on their own first. Do you know what? If I was to describe that, it's kind of like a chip shop dal. Obviously dal being the Indian curry with the lentils and stuff in. And the mushy peas are kind of adding that kind of flavour and texture to the curry sauce. It's a nice, deep, rich curry sauce. Much more reminiscent of an Irish curry sauce than your regular chip shop one. It's got that extra sort of layer of spice, depth of flavour. Let's see how it goes with the chips. To be honest, I think anything would go well with these chips. This definitely does. That's delicious. Let's try it with the fish. There we go, load that up. That marries up very, very nicely indeed. Right, you know what's coming next. A little bit of everything. There we are, we've got the fish, we've got the chips, and the curried mushy peas all together in one big bite. Here we go. That's great. Absolutely great. Wow. This is fish and chips elevated. Now I know people are going to say they're not frying in beef dripping or whatever, so it can't be as good as Yorkshire fish and chips. And you know, with my experience at Murgatroyd's recently, I loved the beef dripping chips there. But I got to tell you, the flavours on this plate are quite exceptional. Absolutely delicious. So the only little criticism I've actually got here is that as I've got through the second portion of chips, you can see we've got an awful lot of scrappy ones left on the plate here. There was a fair amount of them in each portion, but you know what? I don't really mind that much. I picked out the ones I wanted, and the guy did come over and say, did I want another portion as well? So I could have had 3. They're not just blagging the fact it's unlimited, they're actually coming over and offering it to you, rather than you having to try and attract someone's attention or whatever. So that's a good thing. I've definitely had my fill now, that's for sure. Well then folks, so that was Rockfish down here in Weymouth. Like I say, I think there's about 9 or 10 of them along the coast, all the way from Poole right down to as far as they go in Devon. So, I've paid £36.90, no service charge on the bill, for the beer, the sardine starter, the whiting, the curry mushy peas, and unlimited chips. There's a £1 charity donation that's added onto every bill. I don't mind paying that. If a business wants to help out local charities, that's fine with me. I did leave a tip as well, even though there is no service charge on the bill, because the service was excellent. Really, really good. So, the starter, the sardines, my God, they were delicious. I just think £11.95 for 3 sardines with no real garnish or anything to it is a bit punchy. Quality though they were. The main course though, the whiting, never had whiting before to the best of my knowledge. Probably having fish fingers or whatever, who knows. But it was a really tasty fish. And if I see it on a menu again, I will definitely pick it. It was really good. That was £15.95 with the unlimited chips. I think that's really good value when you consider everything else on the menu there was sort of £20 upwards for the fish and chips. So it was a cheaper option and it was a tasty option. The mushy peas were a revelation with the curry sauce around them, like a little mushy pea island in the middle. Really, really tasty. Good quality mushy peas, very good quality curry sauce. So, chips though. So tasty, but just too many scrappy little ones in there. I mean, I know you can't just chuck them away or whatever, and you're cutting chips, you don't want to waste anything, but I don't know, maybe just cut the chips a little bit thicker and you're going to get less scrappy bits possibly, I don't know. But yeah, for me that was a slight down point. But overall, it hasn't really detracted from what was a delicious, delicious lunch. God, I should have done my coat up before starting this outro. It's still parky. So, on to a score. Where are we going to pitch this? I mean, it can't be a perfect 5, because like I say, I think the sardines were a little overpriced, and the chips, too many scrappy bits in there. But I think it's a 4.5 out of 5 for me. Really, really tasty. Not the cheapest fish and chip restaurant in the world, but sometimes you've got to pay for quality, haven't you? And that's exactly what I've done here. I have paid for quality. Does it get Greeno's green light? You bet your life it does. If you've enjoyed this video, why not click a thumbs up on there for me? It does help with the algorithm and all that. And if you like the fish and chips videos, there's a whole playlist of them and a load of other stuff in the vault. So go and check some stuff out. I'm sure there's going to be more stuff you'll enjoy there. Why not consider subscribing while you're at it as well? We're pushing towards 20,000 for the end of the year. Will we get there? It's going to be tight. Anyway, I'm going to go for a nice breezy stroll along the seafront now. Try not to get blown away. Head back to Greeno Towers. Where am I off to next? You'll have to tune in next time to find out, won't you? I'll see you then.